Well, it's been about a year since I last talked about the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, and about a year since the show actually came out, so I think it's due time that we finally talk about this show once again and the possibility of a season 2. Now, as it stands right now, Netflix has given no announcement of a renewal for the series, which is a little bit disheartening to the fan base of this show, because a show like Big Mouth, right into its third season, gets this massive renewal pushing it through season 6, but we don't get even a word about Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. Now, of course, they're two very different shows. They're watched by different people most of the time. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I can say with certainty Big Mouth and the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance are definitely in two different camps when it comes to production. Sure, one of them's animated, and that can take a year and a half process to do, but Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, Dark Crystal in general, is puppetry, CGI, and set design. And these three aspects alone can take an incredibly long time to put together, especially when you think of set design specifically in terms of puppetry. To make something perfect for puppetry in set design is incredibly difficult to do. We take it for granted with how well Jim Henson does it, or the Jim Henson Company does it, and Jim Henson did it. We take that for granted somewhat because it always looks so incredible, but stuff like that takes time. So, if Netflix did in fact announce the renewal today, yesterday, or whenever, it's still going to be a ways out before we actually see this second season. It's not going to be until fall of 2021 or after, at the least. That's my belief as it is right now. I don't see any possibility of this show coming out before then, just because of the amount of work that goes into this. And if we want a season as good as the first season of Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, giving the creators time to work on it and get it just right, I think is fair to say. It honestly reminds me a lot of the road the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared TV series has had to travel these last few months, these last 2 years almost, in getting picked up by a station, finally getting picked up by Channel 4. It's puppetry, it's animation, it's musical numbers. The shows share a lot of similarities, even though they're so different, and I think the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is at least going on that same sort of path where it's just getting the work done, moving forward slowly but surely. But while we don't have a renewal for the series, there is some good news to be shared that I have not seen many people talk about, which actually comes from the Jim Henson website. On the Jim Henson website, under the sci-fi and fantasy tab, you see a bunch of different movies and TV shows. However, only one is still listed as in production, and that is the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. Now, some people might say that's because the show is currently airing continuously on Netflix and is streaming, but that's not what in production means. In production means it's being produced. Work is being done on it. I don't think streaming a show on Netflix constitutes work on a series. I think that's work that's already been completed being shown off to the public. So the fact that that is the only one that says in production that came out most recently is a very good sign for the series. So we have some good news. No official announcements, but some very good news for the series. However, for the people still wanting to see this show quickly, it's gonna be a long road to walk. There is a ton of work that goes into every scene of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, and to get it just right for 10 episodes, 8 episodes, however many we get, is going to take a very long time. Now, of course, I have to bring this up because there haven't been any official announcements, and my only justification for this hopefulness I have is based off of one thing that could be a technicality on the Jim Henson website. I have to bring up that there is a possibility that Dark Crystal Age of Resistance will be a one-and-done series and just have that one season. While I don't believe it to be 100% true, I still think there's a slight possibility that this show could end after only one season, which I know could be incredibly disappointing. But there's one thing we need to look at when it comes to the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, and that is just the quality of the show in general. Watching this show, I can proudly still say that it is the best season of TV I saw in all of 2019, and probably still stands as the best thing I've seen since September of 2019 on TV. Nothing has topped it yet in terms of quality and love and effort put into a series. This is an incredible project, and we were incredibly lucky to get it, given how hard it was to get the Jim Henson Company, get everything together to make this series actually happen over at Netflix. The fact that we got it was incredible. The fact that it was as good as it was is nothing short of a miracle. What the Jim Henson Company was able to pull off, everyone on that team, is phenomenal. So if we're only going to get one season of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, I think that's pretty damn good. If it turns out like this, it's pretty incredible. It's such a massive step up from the original film, taking things in a new direction, making it interesting at every turn. It really is a sight to behold, and I do fully intend on making a fairly long video breaking down this entire series and how it does everything seemingly perfectly in terms of puppetry, set design, storytelling, everything. It's an incredible feat. So while I personally don't believe the show is dead, I don't believe that it's going to stop at its first season, especially with the reception it got from audiences and critics alike. So much positivity towards the show. I think it's going to continue on, and we'd all like to see it continue on. But if there's a possibility that it gets canceled, it's not the end of the world, because we still have this first season. Sometimes more isn't the best thing. Sometimes just the best thing is the best thing. And the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, I think, is the best show that the Jim Henson Company has put up, and one of the best shows I've ever seen in my entire life. A little bit of a rant there to calm people down. I know I'm rambling somewhat about this show because I really do love it. There's so much care put into this show. And while Season 2 is still a possibility, judging by what we've seen on the Jim Henson website and the lack of information from Netflix, one season isn't the end of the world. At least we got the one, and at least it was as good as it could have possibly been. But for the time being, there really isn't too much to say. I'm going to rewatch this show, and I'm going to make a fairly large video breaking it down, hopefully by some point before the end of the year. I know that sounds like a ways out, but keep in mind it's going to take a whole lot longer to make this series, so a little bit of Dark Crystal content from me at least to tide people over. I hope it won't be as good as the real series itself, but I'll do my best to share what I liked about the show and why it worked so well later on down the road. But for right now, Season 2 of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is looking likely. It looks like the Jim Henson Company is confident that they are going to be able to make this second season, whether it goes up on Netflix or wherever. This show seems to be being produced as we speak. If you have any thoughts on the topic, post them down in the comments below. I read every single comment on this channel, so don't be shy. Yours will not be overlooked. Any information you have on the show, or if you just enjoyed the show, post it on down there, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.